One book which I've been reading recently is Saad's The Parasitic Mind. Have a look at that. See if I can get that in focus for you. There you go. It's recently published. It's still in hardback at the moment. And it's a book which challenges society's norms. So it's a brand new book. It's Jordan Peterson recommends it, if that's anything for you. Read this book, strengthen your resolve, and help us all to return to reason, which is a good summary of the call to action that this book makes. Saad is an academic at which university? Concordia. Professor of Marketing at Business at Concordia University, held a chair for research chair in evolutionary behavioural science. And certainly I find this an interesting challenge of a book, certainly worth looking at. Let me give you a brief outline of what it contains. It's got 8 chapters. The first of the chapters is called From Civil War to the Battle of Ideas. And what that is, he starts off by simply justifying his approach as to why would a professor from a safe university, why not stay in your lane? Why do you stick your neck out repeatedly, he asks himself. And his reply is, on a personal level, I'm a free thinker who is allergic to get along groupthink. The ideals that drive my life are freedom and truth, and any attack on these ideals represents an existential threat to all that I hold dear. So he's motivated personally. In the first chapter he explains why he's writing the book, because he feels truth is under threat. The second chapter is called Thinking versus Feeling, Truth versus Hurt Feelings. And I think he makes a very important point here, that we may feel certain things, but if the truth is against it, I'm sorry, your feelings take second place to the truth. He says that there are 2 views. You can take the deontological view or the consequentialist view. The deontologicalist view regards the pursuit of truth and asserts that it is never justified to violate truth or to suppress truth. But the consequentialist perspective asserts that truth must at all times be altered, fudged or suppressed to avoid bad consequences such as hurt feelings. Now you must take a stand on that. Which is more important, hurt feelings or the truth? If you believe that you must hurt people's feelings and you might suppress the truth for that, then you become a consequentialist. However, Saad points out that the deontological view is the one which probably will serve us best in the long run. He makes that argument in chapter 2. In chapter 3, it's called A Non-Negotiable Element of a Free and Modern Society. And what is that non-negotiable element that he's talking about, that every free society must have? He says, I posit that the guaranteed right to debate any idea, in other words, freedom of speech, coupled with a commitment to reason and science to test all the competing ideas, is what made Western civilization great. Free speech, the right to debate any idea, that nothing is off the table. And he gives chapter 3 over to the defense of freedom of speech. Chapter 4, anti-science, anti-reason, and illiberal movements. This is about those people who take an anti-science point of view, an anti-reason point of view. And his main attack here is postmodernism, I would say. He's very keen to point out, let's see if I can find a suitable quote for you. Postmodernism posits that all knowledge is relative. In other words, there's no objective truth, while generating obscure and impenetrable prose which is tantamount to random rubbish. So he attacks in this element here people like Michel Foucault, Jacques Derrida, the people who have set up postmodernism. And the reason why he finds it so important to attack this is because his quotation from Voltaire is, those who can make you believe absurdities can make you commit atrocities, Voltaire. And the next chapter, Campus Lunacy, the rise of social justice warrior. And there are a number of issues here. He's particularly attacking his own university surroundings and environment, because it seems to be a place where people have set up safe spaces, trigger warnings, places like that, where he claims that's the exact opposite of what a university should be set up to do. He said trigger warnings infantilize human resilience by coddling young adults into thinking that they do not possess the psychological strength to face life. And that, he thinks, is a negative element. And not one which is going to help people to face the life that they have. Chapter 6, Departures from Reason, Ostrich Parasitic Syndrome. His whole point here is that most people, and he's quoting G.R.R. Martin, most men would rather deny a hard truth than face it. Isaac Asimov says the easiest way to solve a problem is to deny it exists. And so the Ostrich Parasitic Syndrome is this disorder causes a person to reject the realities which are otherwise as clear as the existence of gravity. Sufferers from Ostrich Parasitic Syndrome do not believe their lying eyes. They construct an alternative reality, and in such a world, science, reason, rules, causality, evidential thresholds, near infinite amounts of data analytic procedures, inferential statistics, epistemologicals, and so on, so on, so on, they all count for nothing because they contradict their own particular ideology. All that can be put aside. So departures from reason, he talks about those people who won't face the evidence or face reality in that chapter. Chapter nearly at the end, 2 more chapters to go, I think. How to Seek the Truth. And he's got this one called Neurological Networks of Communicative Evidence, Chapter 7. This is really about how do you present evidence to those people who do not believe what you have to say? How do you present a case? How do you argue the case effectively and powerfully? That's the nature of this particular chapter. He shows how you need to amass a wall of evidence and then present the whole lot in one go. Finally, chapter 8, the last chapter, is a call to action. And his call to action is a number of steps which you need to take. Just to briefly read some of them out. Believe in the power of your own voice, because you do have a voice, and it's something which you need to speak up about and say what you think. Number 2, don't be afraid of judging others or giving offence. Only that way does the truth actually come out. Number 3, do not virtue signal, which means do not try to present yourself as being self-righteous. And instead, he's got some other things. How to fix universities is another part there, some parting words. So, Saad, The Parasitic Mind, published by Regani. Don't think I know that particular publisher, but I'm sure you can find this on Amazon if you're interested. The division of the Salem Media Group. There you go. Copyright 2020 by Saad, G-A-D-S-A-A-D. Highly recommended.